Hey everyone, I'm the Drink Pro. We're still doing the 12 days of MICHTER'S, and today I've got the barrel strength bourbon and rye. What's up everybody? Kyle the Drink Pro here with you yet again, and as always, thank you so much for liking this video, commenting on it, sharing it with your friends, and please don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing really helps me, you guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It lets YouTube actually come and talk to me so we can make really good content for you guys. And I know a lot of you guys aren't subscribing. Nothing to be ashamed of, but please consider clicking that subscription box because it makes a big difference. Today, we have got the barrel strength big boys in the house, and we're gonna try them out. Now, I've got two different ones to try. I've got the barrel strength bourbon and the barrel strength rye, but I've got a lot of other things we've tried. I don't know how many of the videos have come out because I'm filming these in a different order than I'm going to be releasing them, but I've tried a lot of other MICHTER'S products, so I'm looking forward to seeing how these barrel strength versions of the MICHTER'S bourbon and the MICHTER'S rye compare to the standard releases, and compare to the toasted releases, in fact. I want to shout out Joe Brown and Ryan Gooley. They provided me these pours, the barrel strength rye and the barrel strength bourbon in that order. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Ryan, for supporting me and this channel. You guys are great people, and I appreciate you. Now, there wasn't a lot of interesting notes online, which is fine because these videos tend to be pretty long anyway, and since I'm doing all these comparisons, I don't want to get too far in the weeds. But I will say that the rye was 103 proof going into the barrel, which is pretty low, lower than most places will barrel their whiskeys. And that should create something interesting on the palate. The other note I have on these before we get into the tasting, which is really the point of these. You know, sometimes I like to add a lot of preamble, but we've done a ton of MICHTER'S stuff. We're talking about tastes today. The bourbon was initially released only in Kentucky in 2017. I don't know, to be honest with you, if they have started releasing it in a lot of other areas or not. But what I do know is I have the 2019 version of the barrel strength bourbon to try today. At least that's what Ryan told me. I'm trusting him, man. You better be right, Ryan. The bourbon is at 54.1% alcohol and the rye is at 55.7% alcohol. So I'm going to start with the bourbon. This is the barrel strength bourbon from MICHTER'S. Ooh. Oh, the nose on this is beautiful. I just want to compare it with some of these others. Oh no! This is really interesting. On the nose, the barrel strength bourbon to me is sort of like a combination of the toasted barrel bourbon and the 10-year bourbon as compared to the US 1. Now, what does that mean? For me, the US 1, if you adjust it so that all the flavors are more strong and prominent, it's kind of going in the direction of the 10, which you'll see that video in the future, I believe. But the quality of the sweetness stays the same, whereas in the toasted, the sweetness becomes deeper and richer and darker. Now, to me, the barrel strength, it's kind of doing both. And I'm getting a nuttiness on it that I don't get on any of the others. I get definite, sweet, beautiful honey, caramel, pecan, cashew. I get a lot of cinnamon with a hint of clove. That's really nice. The berries start to show up on this one too. I definitely get the blueberry, raspberry, elderberry, chuckberry. This was a huge mistake. This is too many whiskeys in one shot. Oh boy. That chuckberry note's really strong though. Boy, the oak on this is just lovely though. It's not too dry. It's not over oaked. It's a wonderful, fresh cut oak. That's beautiful. That's not something I get a lot of. This is one of the first ones I, honest to God, get a floral note on. I'm getting geranium on this. That one's for you, Nate. Oh, I'm getting all sweaty. Buy my Drink Pro merch. It'll make you all sweaty. All right, let's give this a taste. Wow, that does not drink like 54.1% alcohol. Not at all. So what really stands out to me, honestly, is the oakiness. It is predominantly oaky. All of these other MICHTER'S bourbons had oak qualities, but they were quiet, or they were ancillary, or they were background. The oak, for me, is pretty prominent in the MICHTER'S bourbon that's at barrel strength. Definitely get apple, caramel, onion. Onion? No. Vanilla. I don't know where onion came from. Okay, focus, Kyle. Get a little honey, a little maple syrup, just a touch, not very much, just a touch. More honey than maple syrup. Definitely get cinnamon, like a candy, sweet cinnamon, like an artificial cinnamon. Yeah, and the mid-palate, nutty and woody. Nutty and woody, very classic presentation. I'm going to compare that to some of these others. Whoa. Wow, the 10 years smells so much sweeter in comparison. You know, I don't have much of this left in here, but, and I didn't really want to do this now, but I'm going to have to, because the proof point is meaningfully different on this bourbon than any of the other bourbons I've tried. And I just have to know how much of an effect that proof point is having. Yeah, see? That has such an effect. Okay, now I've really, really dropped the proof of this barrel strength. I've got it down into the area of the MICHTER'S 10 and the standard US 1 bourbon. Now let's see how it compares. It is still nuttier than most of these, I'll give it that. The MICHTER'S 10 is so much sweeter, so much more sweet fruit than the barrel strength bourbon. Wow, that standard bourbon does not hold up to the rest of these. Holy crap. If you like an oakier bourbon that isn't just an oak bomb, it still has some of the classic bourbon components, especially from the MICHTER'S lineup. It's got some of the same fruit notes, some of the same sweet aromatics, but it really focuses on the nuttiness and the woodiness. I think the barrel strength MICHTER'S is really doing that. If you want more fruit and sweetness, go for the MICHTER'S 10. Which you'll see in the next video. I don't think I've done these in the right order, but who the fuck cares? All right, let's dig into the rye. We've got the barrel strength rye here. Now this one I'm really curious about because the toasted barrel rye that's at barrel strength that I have is 54.8% alcohol. And the regular barrel strength rye that I've got is 55.7% alcohol. To me, that 0.9% difference is very small, so I'm really curious to see how the toasted rye compares to the standard barrel strength rye. That's going to be a more interesting comparison even than the 10 or the US 1 rye because the proof point's so much closer. Let's go ahead and give this a nose. Now, interestingly, just like the MICHTER'S 10 rye, which you'll see in the future, there's a sharpness to the nose on this barrel strength rye. You know, I've got to say, these MICHTER'S ryes are very gentle in the rye component. I don't know if they disclose the mash bill. I don't believe they do, but I have to believe it's relatively low rye, maybe 51% or something close to it, because the rye is not dominant at all in these pours. Yes, I can smell rye grain, but if I didn't know any better, I would assume this was a high rye bourbon. I really would. I'm just getting tons of toffee and caramel and butterscotch. Just all those sweet aromatics, some cinnamon, a little bit of black pepper, and then the oak starts to show up. Actually, I get cedar on this. That's the first one thus far I've gotten cedar from. That's kind of fun. Get a little bit different in the wood components. The cedar shows up. Yeah, the cinnamon sticks. It's cinnamon, but it's the cinnamon sticks. That's kind of fun too. And this is a fruitier rye than you tend to get. The rye here, I really do get some awesome fruit notes. I get banana, just a touch of banana, which is, again, a note I haven't had yet. And a little apple, red apple instead of the green. Oh, got it in my mustache. Yeah, the raspberry shows up now too. I get a little bit of like a red licorice. This is actually a beautiful whiskey. This is maybe one of my favorites. This barrel strength rye is gorgeous. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Don't like it. A very standard rye is not my thing, and that's what this is. Yeah, it's at barrel strength, but it's got rye grain, it's got sweetness, it's got a hint of mint, it's got a little bit of dill. It's got that sort of willet rye quality that just isn't my thing. Let's compare it to the toasted one here. The oak really comes through on that toasted. The toasting process really affects the flavor, and I gotta say, it might be negative on this rye. Lots of herbal spice, maybe a hint of anise, just a hint. Black pepper, like I said before, the classic rye flavors of dill, and it's just not my thing. Not my thing. I'm glad I tried it, but honestly, I think of all the ryes that I tried, MICHTER'S 10 was by far my favorite. Now let's add some water to this barrel strength rye, because the fact that I like the MICHTER'S 10 so much makes me think that maybe adding some water to this might open it up in such a way that I'll really enjoy it. I like that a lot better. It still has those classic rye components, but adding a little water to it gives way and lets the sweetness really open up. Michter's makes a pretty damn sweet rye, but when you drink it at barrel strength, in either the toasted, you know what? Let's add some water to the toasted. What the hell? Why not? When in Rome, right? When you have the full strength of the Michter's rye at barrel strength, it's too rye focused. It's not what I'm looking for from my Michter's pour. Yeah, and see, that's way better already. It's like oaky cotton candy with a hint of rye spice. What have I learned today? I have no idea. But I certainly feel like the barrel strength rye, not my jam. If I have to pick a rye thus far in this lineup, probably got to go with the Michter's 10 rye. And I think of the ones I've tried, I would probably say the same about the Michter's bourbons. The Michter's 10 bourbon really stands out. But I will say, the Michter's bourbon, the barrel strength bourbon, is a real competitor for the best one I've tried so far. Thank you guys so much for drinking with me. I hope you guys are having a good time. Celebrate your family, your friends, the holidays. Have a good time. Keep drinking like professionals. Cheers.